Hi, I'm just out of the shower and I'm wearing my new Ozina shirt, which we got as a gift at the end of our stay, our artist residency in Ozina Camp. And I wanted to give you a review of the camp, how we found it, how our time over there was. And I will do this in English so everyone, the people from Ozina and also the new people who are not fluent in German can understand what I'm talking about. If you have any further questions, just reach out, and I try to answer everything for everyone. So the first thing to say is that I'm looking for artist residencies for family since I would say 2 years, and it's really hard to find like anything. And that's when I came across Ozina in, I guess, February or January, I think. And then I wrote an email and asked how long an artist residency might be. And I got the reply that it will be from 2 to 3 weeks at least. And therefore I thought, okay, this is something that we cannot do right now because of the days that we can take off at work, and because our little one is going to school soon, so we have to be in the holiday season. And so I thought, okay, we couldn't do it, but the closer we came to August, we felt the urge to visit Mallorca because this is something we haven't been for 2 years, and the people who know me knows that I wanted to live on Mallorca for so long, and I even tried once. It's, I guess, 7 years ago. And so we know the island pretty well, and I thought, okay, maybe I can ask if we come to Ozina, but a shorter amount of days. And the reply was, yes, just come. So we were pretty happy that we can go, and we were pretty curious how it will be because we never stayed in a yurt, and of course we went camping before, but this would be something different. We also knew that Thomas and Emma wouldn't be there, that they moved to Bristol because we saw it online, and so we were curious, like, what will it gonna be, how will it be, and Thomas wrote me that the stay we were 5 days might be too short to finish a project, but it will be, but that it will definitely have an impact on us, and that give us some spark or some inspiration for projects to come in the future. So we went there. We stayed the first night because we arrived around midnight in a pretty cheap hotel close to Palma. And then the next day we went to the beach, and then we went to Ozina in the afternoon, and Dasha welcomed us very friendly. She was there like the whole time. She was like the invisible good soul, because for every question we had, she was there. She helped us. She took care of us. But even though she was there, the camp was empty, so it felt a bit like it was ours, and it was our garden, and it was so beautiful to be there. So we felt completely free when we arrived there. And there were the animals, like they have 2 horses, 2 pigs, and chickens. And my daughter is in love with birds, like every kind of birds, and she fell in love with the chickens from the first second on. And she was like, these are my children, and she took care of them like the whole stay we were there. And we feeded them with salad and tomatoes, and yeah, so it was so beautiful. And for me, it was so important because we are living in a city, and I always have the need to ground myself. So to feel the earth, to feel the nature. And because it's raining here all the time, it was like, for me, it was heaven. So I could run around barefoot. We barely had clothes on. It was like the most grounding place ever for me. So I could reflect on myself. I could reflect on my habits. I also, so I had the time to reflect that I'm always, or a lot, stressed out at home, that I'm running and running and running, and that I could stop at Ozina. So I really could take a breath, I could pause, I could stop, I could reflect what I'm doing, and I could ground myself. And one thing that we loved, like every one of us loved the most, was like having a shower in the woods, like naked, completely alone in nature. So I think this was the most grounding thing ever. And I had pretty vivid dreams. So one thing, and this is what I painted, was that Asta visits us in the yard. So he came through the door and he looked inside the yard and he filled all of the yard completely with his glow. And he was so curious and funny, and looked inside, and like it was crazy and beautiful and bold. And only after that I remembered, okay, I saw a star on the other shirts of Ozina, so maybe a star comes more often. It was not only me who was visited by a star, but this was a big dream. And then I think Thomas runs the account, the Ozina Camp, but I'm not quite sure. So I got a message that the dreams in the Zen Master Yard where we're sleeping on are big dreams, and they often are very meaningful. So I can definitely confirm this. And yeah, so this was something big. And the other thing was, like, there was such a big heat on Mallorca at that time. And I love summer, I love the sun, I love heat, but this was crazy. It was so the heat was too much for every one of us. And Ozina provided some shadow, and they have like those hose with water to water the plants, and also we were watered by it, so that was beautiful, and they cooled us down. But then my daughter got sick one night in the middle of the night, and she threw up a whole night, and then we went into the hospital. So we stayed there for the day, and then we came back, and it felt so. Ozina was like the place itself. It was so beautiful. It was so grounding, and the circumstances we were there were challenging. But every one of us was like, "We need to come back. We love it here." It felt so much like home, and that it gave us a big hug and welcomed us so much that we definitely want to come back. And Thomas was right that it has an impact on us, even though we stayed that short. And after we stayed there, we had three other nights in a hotel in Magaluf. We have never been to Magaluf before, and we said, yeah, okay, it might be something like Playa de Palma, but it won't be that bad. But we arrived there after like a week full of silence and nature and grounding and being in the center of us and being together and totally calm into like the center of craziness. It was like you had like influence from everywhere. You had the heat, you had the lights, you had the TV stations everywhere, you had the music everywhere. Everyone was drunk and loud and crazy, and then we were like, oh, what have we done to ourselves? And yeah, so after the time in Ozina, we could see like how we as society how we all are affected by not being in nature and living in those artificial places and worlds that we created ourselves, that we need to numb ourselves down by always having some input, and that it was crazy. So yeah, so this was eye-opening as well. After we had this beautiful stay in the camp, where we saw so many patterns in ourselves, it was so eye-opening to come to Magaluf and see in a deep concentrated version like what we are doing as society and as humans to ourselves if we lose connection to nature. So yeah, so at the end I would say Ozina is a magical place, and I hope many people will have the chance to be there, whether it's an artist residency or a vacation. And I'm pretty sure this will has a lot of impact in future projects of mine. So yeah, thank you, Ozina. And so if anyone wants to see some of the work I've done there and here after we came back, I just made a post yesterday just to hop onto the profile and have a look at it, and also go visit the profile of Ozina and follow them and go there.